So, well, then I'm going to start. I'm going to start talking first a bit about the embodiment, and then we get into doing a simple, very simple exercise today. So, when it comes to a full body embodiment in relation to sex and intimacy, it's something that I'm very, very passionate about, and it's so important because very often when we think about sex, we think about the kind of the sexy bits, there are sexual organs and all the intimate stuff, and we forget about that actually our whole body is part of this. And if we are not used to be comfortable in our body, if we're not used to feel at home and flexible and juicy and embodied in our own skin, then we're not going to feel so at ease when we're in an intimate situation either. So that's why we got everything to gain from getting into the body and awakening the body, really getting in touch with and at home inside every tiny little, square or cubic, millimeter of our body. Because very often what's happened is that the way we've grown up, we have learned to shut down certain parts of the body. So this happens, without us knowing, just from living life in this world. We shut down certain parts of our body because of emotional trauma and experiences, because of the way we've been taught to behave and sit and stand in a certain way, sit properly, walk properly. It's all about behaving according to certain, socially acceptable norms when we grow up in this world. And maybe possibly more so for men even than for women. You are encouraged to kind of move like a man, and which can make you maybe potentially a bit rigid in the body. And I know from having done many years of body work, especially with men also, that a lot of men are very rigid in their hips, for instance. And whenever we're rigid, we kind of blocking the energy flow. And when we're blocking the energy flow, we also limit our ability to feel and experience sensations, especially the most subtle sensations. So in order to begin to come back into the body, we need to start to let go of the tensions and the energy blocks and open up the channel so that the energy can flow freely through us. So we become a free channel for energy to flow. And this is also very important, for instance, in relation to guys, if you have experienced premature or early ejaculation. If you're not really fully connected in your body and fully at home and embodied in your pelvis, you are lacking the internal support that you need in order to be able to hold your sexual energy. So if you're a bit disconnected in the pelvis, then it's much more likely that the energy and the aroused energy kind of overwhelms you, and you don't have the ability to ground and hold that energy with your body, because you're partly not fully there. And embodiment is, it's a very kind of popular word these days, and it can seem maybe a bit elusive. In fact, it is a bit elusive, I find, because with embodiment, we don't realize when we don't have it, but we do realize when we have it. And you can experience that as an example, for instance, if you are, going for a run or something, or doing some strenuous exercise. When you finished that, the running or whatever you've been doing, that's like, a strenuous full-on exercise, you will notice that all of a sudden you feel really good in your body. It's like you come home in your body. You can feel yourself, you can feel more comfortable and more relaxed and more at ease in your body. There's none of that kind of nervous tension that can make us feel awkward or insecure in the body. So this is such an important part, guys. And it's also getting into the body. I also want to mention here, and we're going to talk about this a lot at later stages as well, it's got to do with really activating both your masculine and your feminine energies inside yourself as well. So very often we think that, to be a man and to be a great lover, you need to be very masculine, and that's true. But you also equally need to be in touch with your feminine. You need both your feminine and your masculine to really be fully able to really, get into your your sexual power as a man. So with the full body embodiment, the way I work with this sorry, I'm speaking too fast. The way I work with it is in a very spontaneous way. So I don't like rigid, structured exercises. I find that very frustrating. So I use a lot of very spontaneous and free-flowing movement practices where it's all about really connecting with your own way of expressing through your body. So because we've been taught to do things in a certain way, you might go to the gym or you might be part of some kind of sports. There's a certain way you do all of those things. There's certain exercises. And if you have that way of approaching exercise through, that kind of structured way, like to do this sport, I move like this, and to do, go to the gym and do this, I do like this, then, and you're not used to flow also in spontaneous ways in your body, then that's very likely also what you're going to bring into your lovemaking and intimacy. You will probably be quite structured and limited in how you move in bed. And I like the example of, for instance, you often hear people mention different positions, which lovemaking position do you like? And I find that a very, very funny question, actually, because I don't count positions, because our body is capable of infinite positions that never needs to be the same twice. In fact, when we're really in the flow with our sexual energy and allow it to express through the body, it's like a dance, like an infinite dance that is different every single time. It doesn't need to repeat anything. So this is something that I'm very, very passionate about, because in my experience, the more you're able to connect with your body from that place of really letting your body guide you, the more amazing layers and dimensions of intimacy and sex you will be able to connect with. So so it's about coming home inside your body, and that will be crossing probably some comfort zones for you as well. Most guys, like I mentioned already, we've been conditioned to behave and move in certain ways. And I'm going to encourage you here to start to connect through your body in a way that you are not directing it with the way you think it should be. But it's about allowing the body to start to actually guide you towards what it needs and what it wants and what's right for you exactly in that moment. Hello, Eric. Nice to have you here. So we're talking about embodiment and getting into the body, and doing that through finding spontaneous ways of connecting with your body and allowing your body to guide you. So we can forget about lovemaking positions, but more focus on allowing our energy to, allowing ourselves to trust our energy, to become so in touch with our energy and so open and so alive in the body, so that when sexual arousal comes, your body will just guide you to how it needs to express, how it wants to express in that moment. And it will be different to last time. It will be different to the way you did it with your last girlfriend. It will be different every single time. In fact, allow it to surprise you. Because if you've already planned in your head, like, now I'm going to try this position and that position, it's like you switch remote control buttons, it becomes very predictable and boring. Even if you think that that's like, oh, well, that's supposed to be a good position. It was good with my last girlfriend. Well, that means that you're actually in your head and you're not really in touch with the flow and the authentic flow and expression of your lovemaking in this moment. So to get into this flow, it's a bit of a journey sometimes. If you haven't been doing free dance or other sort of free expressive exercises, then this probably will be very new for you. But we're going to start in a very, very simple way. So it'll be very easy and very straightforward today. And what we're going to focus on is, first of all, just to really start to activate and awaken the body and really start to learn what it feels like to connect within. So very easy, everyone can do this. you've got this inside yourself, you might just be perhaps unfamiliar with connecting with yourself in this way. So let's start. So I'm going to step back. I'm going to step back so that you can see a bit more of me when I'm showing things. And hopefully you'll still hear me really well. So I'll try to project my voice so that you will still hear me. And I will be working on getting a different microphone for this as well so that we can get more professional as we get along. But for now, I just have to manage with this normal computer microphone, and hopefully you will hear me fine. Otherwise, let me know. I'll check in maybe in the middle just to see if there's any comments or anything else you want to say. So if you're here now, Stuart, John, Eric, or anyone else, I encourage you to do this with me. You know, wherever you are. If you can take a moment to watch this, you can take a moment also to check this out for yourself. Okay, shall we do that? All right. So I'm going to step back all the way back to here. Okay. So hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to speak up a bit. So what we're doing today is something very simple. We're just going to connect with the body, connecting with your own body energetically. So I want you to stand up with your feet, hips width apart, and the knees slightly bent. And the reason we want the knees bent is because if you lock your knees, then the energy can't flow. So this is all about opening the body so that energy can flow freely in the body. And as you're bending your knees, really feel your feet, the soles of your feet towards the ground. Even if you've got shoes on, nicer to be barefoot, but if you've got shoes on, you can still feel the ground beneath your feet. And from here we take some nice deep breaths into the belly, into the Buddha belly. So you can feel the belly get bigger on the in-breath and smaller on the out-breath. And just take some nice, long, deep breaths. Out through the mouth. And allow your body to relax more and more with each out-breath. So a few more breaths. And turn your attention inwards, into your body. Really checking in what's going on inside your body in this moment. There's always a new moment inside the body, always changing. So checking in on what it feels like inside your body right now. What's going on there? Maybe there's some tummy rumbling, or there may be some tension. Maybe any kind of different sensation. Really checking in on your body, like scanning your body, feeling what's going on. And keep breathing nice, long, deep, slow breaths. And when you're keeping your knees bent like this and really feeling the earth beneath your feet, you will start to feel that the body's coming alive. So if you focus on the intention of opening your body right now, so there's so much of this work that's done with intention alone, which is really amazing. When it comes to energy work, a really cool thing is that energy flows where attention goes, which means we can literally move energy with our thoughts. So this is why it's so important that you really empower yourself with the belief that you are going to open your energy channels in your body. We are here to activate your body and to open your body. So first of all, that intention to open, allowing your body to open, as opposed to being rigid and energetically closed, which is a state that we often are in on autopilot in the world to survive, because we're not aware that we are closed. But in a situation like this, when we're coming back home, now focus on opening. And as you focus on opening the body, keeping your knees bent, you might notice how the body feels like it's loosening up. It's becoming looser. And maybe it wants to kind of naturally start to move a little bit. Maybe you might notice little wriggles, little shivers, little tremors in the body. And that's the body responding to your intention to open. And naturally it starts going into healing and alignment mode. It starts to look for ways to come back to balance. And that will very often involve some sort of release in the form of some wriggles or shaking. So let the body do little movements as it pleases, while you just keep breathing, nice long deep breaths. And as you're keeping your knees bent, you might also notice how that really loosens up your hips. Because if you keep your knees tight, that will also make your hips tight. So in the moment you let go and release the knee lock, you'll feel how your hips become loose. And that's what you want, because that's how the energy can flow through your hips. And the next thing I want you to do is to begin to imagine and see yourself as the space between the atoms. Start to feel yourself as space. And this is also what, the quantum science has been showing now, that in fact we are mostly space. But if we walk around in life and believe ourselves to be like, I'm this solid person, then we make ourselves maybe unnecessarily solid. And that can also block energy. So play with this. Play with imagining yourself as the space between the atoms, and notice what you feel. Notice what you feel in the body. When I do that, my body starts to want to wriggle and do little movements, and so I let that happen. Let that happen. This is your body starting to respond to you, giving the body the space and the freedom and the allowance to find its own way to healing and alignment. The body knows how to heal. When we create the environment for healing, it will always go into healing mode. And then we can add some sound to that. Sound is super powerful when it comes to this. Allow sighs to come out. And give the body space to find its own way, to start to come up with some wriggles and some natural moves that are not something that you learned in the gym, not your typical stretch or anything you've learned. Let the body guide you here. So really put your head to the side. You can put your head on the shelf over in the corner and really let your body guide you. And this can be very simple from the outside, like you can hardly see me do anything here. But the shift is monumental inside and energetically when you allow your body the space to open, to activate. And this is how the energy can begin to flow freely in the body. So let the body guide you into moves Maybe want to wriggle the head. Maybe want to rotate some shoulders. So there's no need to copy me here. Really notice what your body wants to do. And your body might want to do some weird things, you know. I love letting my body surprise me in what it wants to do. Sometimes it tells me to do really, really weird things, and I go, why on earth am I doing this? You know, like, you know, some repetitive movement. I'm like, what is this? You know, and then in the moment it stops, massive energy is flowing through. And I realized, oh wow, there was an energy block there, and my body knew exactly how to free that and how to open up that block, how to release that energy block. So all our illnesses and all our struggles are really just energy blocks. So the more we can tune into the body, come back home into the body, and let the energy flow and guide us to exactly what movements we need to do today, which might be very different to what we needed to do yesterday. And this is also really an invitation to connect with the energy that's, you know, it's really your body's wisdom beyond who you believe you are, beyond your identity. So this is where your masculine energy can express itself. It's where your feminine energy can express itself. It's where maybe your animal nature can come in and have some expression too. And let the sounds, so the body knows how to release when we let it. Shakes are great. And let the shaking come up from the ground, through the soles of your feet, all the way up your legs, like a natural wave of energy. Shaking really helps to loosen up blocks. And there's nothing forced in this. It's no effort. It's an allowing of the energy to flow, allowing the body to open, allowing yourself to let go of the barriers and the walls that we built up to protect ourselves in this world. So let yourself have a little wriggle and a shake and a sigh. Ow, maybe some yawning and some grimaces. Is that how you say it? Oh, wow, wow, wow. Oh, I'm feeling more and more and more and more spacious and light. Light, it's like this is how we enter into the higher frequency through the body, because as long as we're staying rigid and structured in the body, we're staying in the 3D reality where everything is very kind of, it's based on effort, and it's kind of heavy, and we feel heavy and rigid. But when we raise our energy and we allow ourselves to start to feel the space between the atoms, we start to feel lighter. It's like gravity ceases to exist, and all of a sudden we can flow, and we can let the body guide us into exactly what kind of movements that are right for you, right here and right now. So that's it for today. That's just a simple little opening the channels activation practice for you to start today. And you can bring this into any part of your day. I'm going to come closer now. You can bring this wherever you are, you know. This is something you can do when you're standing in the queue waiting for a bus, or at the supermarket. Wherever you are, you can do this. And I encourage you to do that, to check in with your body several times a day, to notice if you are sitting in a way where you collapsed, like, you know, kind of allowing your energy to collapse. Remember this. Remember the space between the atoms, and allow the lightness to come in so that the energy can flow that supports your spine to be straight, effortlessly, just like children. Look how little toddlers are sitting with such beautiful straight backs. And then as they get older, they start to hunch. So that is when we are, the hunching and the heaviness is connected to that reality when we are not letting our energy flow. When the energy flows, we feel light and flexible, and we can let our bodies guide us to the perfect movements, to come back to alignment and healing and ease within ourselves and our own body. What if you just broke down in tears? Very, very good. Exactly. That, very good question. Thanks for bringing that up, Stuart. That is bound to happen when you do this kind of work, because you start to take down those barriers. You start to loosen up, because the reason why we become rigid is most often because we suppressed emotions. So the emotions will come when you do this. So the best thing you can do is to welcome them. Acknowledge the emotion and welcome it and feel it. Because it's by pushing the emotion away that we stay rigid and life becomes very difficult. But if you allow yourself to feel the feeling fully, welcome it, whatever it is, then it will have its own natural course of running through the body, and before you know it, it's shifted and you're feeling something else, something lighter. Mind you, that can sometimes take a while, in the beginning when we start doing emotional release work like this, sometimes, that process of letting go can take longer, or you do a bit, you can come back to it later on at a different time. So yeah, just really allow that, allow the tears, and another thing that's helpful with emotions is to stay away from the story. Because if you start telling yourself a story about it, because there's always a story attached to, the emotions, then we can tend to loop in the emotion, and we can get stuck in emotional, loops that can be hard to get out of. So when a strong emotion comes on, allow yourself to feel just the energy of the emotion and welcome that. But leave the story. No story needed. Just let the pure emotion run through your body until it's done its work, and you're going to feel so much lighter for it. Hey Kamal, great to have you here too. That's awesome, guys. So any questions? Any questions on this while I'm still on here? So I was just saying in the beginning also that, if you want to search any of these videos as we're going along week by week, I'm hashtagging them, hashtag with the name of the daily theme. Like today we have Wow Your Body. So today is hashtag 1 Wow Your Body. Next Wednesday will be hashtag 2 Wow Your Body, etc. And for each day of the week. So that makes it easy to find if you want to go back and look up these lives in order. A few times a day we practice. Yeah, good question. So look, it's great to have a daily practice. If you can take some time aside every day to do a bit of this, is ideal. Yeah. And then with something like this, like the embodiment, you can come back to it throughout the day, like if you're in the middle of work, and you notice that you start getting kind of tense and heavy, you can go, oh, hang on a moment, just take a minute, come back into the body, allow yourself to feel the space between the atoms, loosen your knees, let yourself have a bit of a wriggle, breathing deeply, and notice what your body needs right now, and the body will show you what it needs. So a main practice once a day is good, whether that's, in the morning or in the evening, or, you might have something else you like to do. But that's ideal to have a daily practice, and then you can check in with yourself during the day so that you're bringing the quality of that practice and the effects of the practice into the rest of your day. Good question, John. So, with discomfort in the body, do you mean as in physical or emotional discomfort? I would focus on first of all really acknowledging and allowing whatever you're feeling, whether it's physical or emotional. And yeah, if you listened from the beginning, I think you did. Yeah, then I go through the stages of first connecting in, breathing, allowing your body to be loose, and acknowledging what goes on there. So if there's always something going on in the body. There might be some pain or tension, or there might be an emotion. Yeah, so physical discomfort, that's part of it. It comes and goes. It can, and of course there'll be people that will be more physically challenged as well, and even more, worthwhile to do this kind of practices if you do have physical challenges. So really allow your body to be loose and relaxed and open so that the energy can flow, because that physical discomfort is most likely because of energy blocks. And to open those blocks, we need the intention to open, deep breath, relaxing the body, and allowing the energy to start to flow again. And acknowledging, what those areas are. So we're not fighting against, physical ailments or anything like that, but more really like acknowledging them, like, hello body, like, what's going on? Oh, you got a bit of tension there. All right, so what is it that's going on in that spot? So you can really literally talk to your body like that, and listen, listen to what the body's got to say or show you. It might not be in English, but it might be in other ways that it shows you what it needs. Maybe it needs some nice breaths, maybe it needs a cry, maybe it needs some nice movement. And really checking in, because it's different every time. And especially if there's tension, then allow yourself to go there. Notice if there's some little movements you can do, some gentle movements to start to connect with that area where you feel, some discomfort. Little wriggles, really bring the breath, the oxygen, the life-giving oxygen of your breath into those areas, and allow the body to guide you to what it needs right now. What is it that part of your body needs in order to let go of the energy block and heal and come back into alignment? Yeah, use your curiosity. Curiosity is great. Yeah, curiosity, and ask your body questions and let it guide you. So the thing with letting your body guide you, it's if it's something you haven't done before, then it can take a little bit, you know. So, be gentle with yourself and focus on relaxing, breathing, and feeling yourself as space is really helpful to open up those energy blocks and letting the energy flow again. So beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Bilal is here too. Thank you guys so much for listening in live. That makes it so much greater on my end. And yeah, so I really want to hear how you go with these things as well, I will put up a post also and encourage everyone to share your insights as we go along. I'll probably do that at the end of the week. I might do that on Friday or Saturday. Let's see. I'll put up a post and ask everyone, but of course you can do that anytime you want, to share your insights for the week. What were your key takeaways? What have you noticed this week? And when you're having little, realizations, it'd be so great if you share that, because it will help others as well. It's not just for you or for me, but it's for everyone in this group, because if we share what's happening, then it makes it easier for others to understand and tap into the journey. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, all of you guys. so much for being here, and get into it. Yeah, and I look forward to hear how you go with this. So tomorrow we're going to go into tantalizing touch, which is a further extension of everything that we've been doing so far this week, and very fun as well. Okay, so I'll let you go, and I'll see you later. Have a beautiful day, night, eve, wherever you are, and I shall see you soon. Okay, bye.